I will not tolerate such behaviour. If you want to go out now, but if you stand again, I will order you out. Make your mind up. Either shut up and get out.
Breaking. The Prime Minister just lost control in Parliament. And the entire world watched it happen Thursday afternoon, House of Commons. What started as a normal policy debate turned into the most shocking political moment Britain has seen in decades. Nigel Farage stood up, looked directly at Keir Starmer and said 5 words that would change everything. You're not leading, you're clinging. The room went silent, then it exploded. If you want to see where this goes, hit subscribe now. Because this story is moving faster than anyone expected, and what happens next could change British politics forever. Let me take you inside that room. Inside the moment everything fell apart. It's 12:04 p.m. The chamber is half empty. MPs are scrolling their phones. Journalists are checking Twitter. Starmer is at the dispatch box giving what should be a routine statement on government policy. His tone is measured. His posture is calm. Everything about this moment screams boring, predictable, forgettable. Then Nigel Farage stands up and the energy in the room shifts instantly. MPs look up from their phones. Conversations stop mid-sentence. Even Starmer straightens his posture like a boxer who just heard the bell ring. Because everyone in that chamber knows what's about to happen. Farage doesn't stand up to ask polite questions. He stands up to end careers. Farage begins speaking. Slow, calm, surgical. Prime Minister, you told this nation you would restore trust. Instead, we've seen confusion, backtracking, and a government so overwhelmed it can't even control its own agenda. Not a shout. Not a dramatic performance. Just cold facts, delivered like a prosecutor building a case. Starmer's smile flickers. His hand tightens around the edge of the dispatch box. The room feels smaller now. The air feels heavier. Farage continues. You promised competence, but the country sees chaos. You promised clarity, but your policies change more often than your excuses. You promised leadership, yet here we are watching your government fold under the slightest pressure. Every word lands. MPs on the Labour benches shift uncomfortably. A few look down at their desks. Starmer's face tightens, but he tries to maintain composure. He forces a laugh, but it comes out wrong, strained, brittle. The kind of laugh someone uses when they're trying to hide panic. Then Farage says the line that detonates the entire chamber. The truth is, Prime Minister, you're not leading this country, you're clinging to it. The reaction is immediate. Gasps ripple through the room. A few MPs actually lean back in their seats like they've just witnessed a car crash. Starmer jolts upright, and for a split second you can see it in his face. The composure he's been holding on to just shattered. His voice rises sharper than anyone has heard before. This is nonsense! Utter nonsense! He snaps the words out, breaking protocol, interrupting Farage mid-statement. The speaker tries to intervene, but Starmer barrels forward. His finger stabs the air. His eyes are blazing. You don't speak for Britain! You inflame it! The chamber isn't shocked anymore. It's stunned. This isn't the calm, collected statesman his team has spent months building. This is a man losing grip on the debate. On the moment. Maybe even on his leadership. But Farage doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't even blink. He simply looks at Starmer and says, quiet but devastating, Prime Minister, this reaction tells the country everything it needs to know. And the silence that follows is crushing. Phones come out. Cameras start rolling. Journalists type furiously. MPs whisper to each other. He's cracking again. And Starmer knows it. You can see it in the way his breathing changes, the way his posture collapses, the way his next words come out defensive and emotional. Instead of strong and clear, then something happens that nobody in that chamber saw coming. Starmer, already rattled and visibly shaking with anger, steps forward. The speaker warns him to resume his seat, but Starmer ignores him completely. MPs lean back instinctively like they're watching someone walk into traffic. His voice cracks as he snaps, I will not sit here and be lectured by a man who has spent decades dividing this country. The outburst is so loud, the microphones distort. You can see Labour MPs wince. They know what this looks like. Everyone knows this isn't strategy. This isn't leadership. This is a full emotional breakdown happening live in the most powerful room in Britain. Farage doesn't need to say a word. He just raises an eyebrow the way someone does when they've hit the exact nerve they were aiming for. The chamber goes dead silent. No heckling. No laughter. Not even the usual muttering, just the sound of the speaker desperately trying to regain control. Prime Minister, you will control yourself and respect the rules of this House. But Starmer doesn't even turn his head. He keeps ranting, louder, harsher, like a man trying to drown out his own shame. This country deserves better than your poisonous rhetoric. And then the moment that freezes the entire chamber happens. Starmer slams his hand down on the dispatch box. Hard. The sound echoes through the room like a gunshot. MPs flinch. The speaker stands immediately. Order! Order! The Prime Minister will withdraw his remarks and resume his seat at once. But Starmer doesn't move. He physically can't. He's too far gone. His voice cracks again. No, Mr. Speaker, I will not let this man rewrite the truth. That's it. That's the line he crosses. That's the moment the Speaker invokes a parliamentary rule so old and so rarely used that most people watching don't even know it exists. Understanding Order 43, I formally order the Prime Minister to withdraw from this chamber. The gasp that follows is audible, real, visceral. A sitting Prime Minister being told to leave the House of Commons. That has almost no precedent in modern British history. It's the political equivalent of watching a king drop his crown in front of a live audience. Starmer freezes. The fight drains from his face in one horrible moment of clarity. For a split second, he looks like a man waking up in the middle of a nightmare he created himself. You cannot be serious, he whispers. His voice is small now. The rage is gone, replaced by disbelief. But the Speaker does not flinch. Security will escort the Prime Minister if he refuses to comply, And then it happens. The moment that will be replayed millions of times before the day ends. 2 security officers enter the chamber, slow, calm, unmistakable. MPs shift in their seats like they're witnessing the collapse of an empire. Starmer looks around wildly, searching for allies on his own benches. None move, none even make eye contact. Labour MPs sit stiff, pale, horrified, because they know what this looks like to the world. A leader out of control, a government in free fall. With the entire chamber staring, Starmer finally steps away from the dispatch box, shoulders slumped, breathing shallow. Every camera in the room captures it from every angle. The most powerful man in Britain being escorted out of the House of Commons like someone who couldn't handle the pressure. And then, just as Starmer reaches the exit, Farage speaks again. Quiet, controlled, devastating. This is what happens, Prime Minister, when you cannot answer for your failures. Even Labour MPs close their eyes. It's a killing blow delivered with absolute calm. Within seconds of Starmer leaving the chamber, phones start buzzing in every MP's pocket. Social media explodes. The clip spreads like wildfire. Newsrooms interrupt their programming mid-broadcast. Hashtags go global within minutes. Commentators call it the greatest political humiliation in modern British history. Farage's team releases a single sentence on social media. Leadership requires composure. It gets millions of views in minutes. Inside Labour headquarters, aides scramble to write emergency statements. Cabinet ministers huddle around TVs in silence. WhatsApp groups leak instantly. One Labour MP writes, "He's finished." Another, "We cannot survive this." Meanwhile, Reform UK's membership website crashes from the flood of new sign-ups. Donation pages buckle under the traffic. Farage is trending above world leaders. American networks run the clip on loop. European diplomats issue statements about ongoing instability in London. The pound dips slightly. Polling companies rush out emergency surveys. In one Snap poll, 68% say Starmer lost control. Another shows his approval rating falling off a cliff. But what erupts next makes the meltdown look tame. Because the fallout is about to reveal something darker and more chaotic than anyone expected. For 3 days, Downing Street goes silent. No public statement, no explanation, no apology, and nothing. The official prime ministerial channels go dark. And in that silence, Farage dominates every news cycle. Interview after interview, he's cool, composed, statesman-like. He uses the same phrase over and over. Britain needs calm leadership. It's simple, devastating, impossible for Labour to counter when every screen in the nation is replaying a furious Starmer being marched out of Parliament. Inside the Labour Party, panic turns into outright revolt. Cabinet ministers send frantic messages. Starmer must get ahead of this or the party is finished. But he doesn't. He won't. He refuses all interviews, cancels public appearances, locks himself inside number 10, while advisers argue about whether he should resign before the collapse becomes permanent. MP after MP leaks messages to the press. One says, he's hiding. Another writes, we cannot knock on doors with this man as leader. A senior Labour figure tells reporters privately, he's not just damaged, he's done. Then the numbers drop. Hard. Labour falls to 26% nationally, their lowest level in almost 2 decades. Reform UK blasts past them into second place for the first time in British history. Farage's personal approval skyrockets. In the north of England, long-time Labour strongholds break away. Polls show Reform leading in constituencies once considered untouchable. This isn't a wobble, it's a collapse. British politics is being redrawn in real time. But then something even bigger drops. Constitutional lawyers start asking questions nobody had considered. Can a Prime Minister who's been forcibly removed from Parliament still legitimately govern? Does the Speaker have power over the executive? Has Britain just crossed a constitutional line it can't cross back from? The Supreme Court announces it will review the legality of the entire incident. That's never happened before in modern democracy. Suddenly, Britain isn't just dealing with a political crisis, it's facing a constitutional one. 10 days after the meltdown, Starmer finally emerges. He looks pale, exhausted. His voice is thin. He tries to explain. He tries to defend his actions. But the country has already moved on. His approval rating is in free fall. His authority is gone. His party is in open rebellion. Behind the scenes, 20 senior Labour MPs submit letters of no confidence. Reporters gather outside Parliament asking one question: is this the end? The Supreme Court confirms the date of its emergency ruling, a decision that will determine the future of British leadership, the power of Parliament and the stability of the entire democratic system. This story isn't finished. The Supreme Court ruling drops next week and it could reshape British democracy forever. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. And drop a comment below. Do you think Starmer survives this? Or is his time up? Let's hear your take.